My name is Julian Wagstaff. I am a composer and I live in Edinburgh in Scotland, where I do most of my work. I've always been fascinated by frontiers and by borders of all kinds. It's maybe why I've ended up living next to the River Amman. You come out, if you turn right, you've got the city, and if you turn left, you've got the country. The frontier between musical theatre and opera, where does that frontier live? Is that frontier bridgeable? The second movement of the clarinet trio, A Persistent Illusion, where the first section is 12-tone and the second section is tonal. There is an audible frontier when you listen to that movement, but there are hands reaching out across that frontier. Sometimes ideas just occur to you and you don't know where they come from. Other times you have to sit down and almost work note by note. You start with an interval, or you start with a series of intervals with a motif. And then of course you develop that motif into something much bigger. The opera Breathe Freely starts with the motif dum la da da. That's probably completely the wrong key, but that's the motif that then informs a great deal of the rest of the opera. So the fact that I've worked in other fields, that I've worked in computer science, the fact that I've worked in languages for political organizations, I think that is a benefit to me as a composer, because it means I'm not just writing about music. It means that when I write music, I can bring in other aspects of life about which I know something and bring that into my writing. I graduated PhD in 2008. For many years I worked writing chamber music and writing smaller scale opera to commission. And then I felt a real strong pull back towards rock and pop music. What I missed was the immediacy of writing, say, a 3 or 4 minute song, rehearsing it with your band, and then getting on stage and performing it in front of an audience and getting immediate feedback.
Where were you the day they opened
One of the greatest compliments that was ever paid to me, it was, I think, meant as a stinging criticism. Somebody who had been to see the professional revival of John Paul Jones in 2010 with the Scottish Chamber Orchestra had written on a feedback form, "This work doesn't seem to know whether it's a musical or an opera," and that was intended as a criticism. But to me, it was the greatest compliment that anybody could pay me.
Great. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No.
Great.